Star Trek, The Starship Trap, the new novel by Mel Gilden. This is interesting. So it's got Kirk, fun galaxy in the background, and then I have no idea who that is. And then it looks like the Enterprise is like stuck in some sort of like crystalline diamond kind of thing. That must be the trap. En route to an important diplomatic reception, the USS Enterprise suddenly is set upon by a Klingon warship. Warship, not a starship. I don't know what I'm talking about. This unprovoked assault, Kirk discovers, is in response to what the Klingon ship's captain claims are recent Federation attacks on several Klingon vessels which have disappeared. Managing to secure a truce, Captain Kirk reaches the reception only to find out it is not just Klingon ships that are disappearing, but Federation vessels, Romulan birds of prey, and ships from almost every known race are vanishing without a trace. Now, Captain Kirk and the crew of the Starship Enterprise must determine the fate of the missing ships before the entire known galaxy is drawn into a deadly conflict. I still don't know who that person is. We will find out. We will read it and find out. Okay. I'm gonna grab the last of what's in this bag. And ooh, gone. Okay, I can get more comfy because I'm like cramped. Okay, Star Trek number 67, Star Trek, The Great Starship Race. Check out the eyebrows on that dude. I know several of the races in Star Trek have some interesting eyebrow choices, but those are some very pointy fuzzy caterpillars that guy has right there. Another Diane Carey. Kirk is looking smoldering. Kirk is looking good on the front of this one. The Great Starship Race. When a friendly alien people called the Ray make contact with the Federation, they are thrilled to learn the galaxy has a large number of intelligent races. To bring the myriad creatures to their world, the Ray host a celebration, inviting spacefaring peoples to send representative ships to compete against one another, and the Great Starship Race is born. Oh, okay. I was thinking it was going to be a lot more nefarious, but as the Federation's flagship, the USS Enterprise, under the command of Captain James T. Kirk, is sent to compete. But the event takes a dark turn when a Romulan warship arrives and demands to join the race. Well, of course. Egos. Romulan egos. Soon, Kirk and the Romulan commander are engaged in a deadly game of cat and mouse, and, for Kirk and his crew, the race becomes a struggle for survival. Faced with treachery at every turn, Kirk must protect his ship from relentless attack and prevent the annihilation of an entire world. There's like a bunch of ships. They're all like having their little race down here. That could be fun. All right. Ooh. Okay, interesting. Star Trek number 66. From the Depths. A new novel by Victor Milan. That's Worf, right? That's Worf? Interesting. It's got long flowing locks. Worf and Kirk. We'll see. Okeanos? A water world settled centuries ago by a group of Federation separatists is now rocked by a power struggle between the natives and the ex-Federation colony. When the USS Enterprise is sent beyond the Federation's boundaries to the planet to act as mediators, they are surprised to find a group of Klingons already serving as the natives' advisors. The volatile situation rapidly deteriorates when one of Okeanos' great floating cities is completely destroyed, and Captain Kirk is arrested for sabotage. Now, at the center of a deadly civil war, Mr. Spock and the crew must race to free their captain as they face the deadly secret hidden beneath Okeanos' murky depths. Is that not Worf? When was this written? I feel like they had to have used... Copyright 1993. Okay, so maybe they just used... I don't know. It looks like Worf. Okay. Star Trek number 34, Blaze of Glory. Star Trek Next Generation. Simon Hawke. Look at my boys. My two boys. No. My two favorite characters from Next Generation. We already established he's my favorite ever. He's my favorite captain ever. They're my boys. The USS Enterprise is assigned to the planet Catral, a planet just coming out from under the heel of barbarous suppression. When the planet's newly emerging freedom is threatened by a rogue ship attacking Federation shipping, Captain Jean-Luc Picard and his crew put their lives on the line to protect Catral from the raids. But the planet itself holds a deadly secret, one that could lead to a resurgence of the despotic cruelty they have suffered for centuries. With time running out, Captain Picard must see his way past a maze of deadly deception with billions of lives hanging in the balance. Another Deep Space Nine. And this one has Odo. I love Odo. He's another one of my favorites. Devil in the Sky. Ooh. Greg Cox and John Gregory Betancourt. The Hortus of Janus VI are the greatest miners in the galaxy, capable of burning through solid rock the way humanoids move through air. That's impressive. Recruited to help rebuild Bajor's devastated mining industry, the Hortus could provide new hope for the planet's struggling economy. But when Cardassian raiders abduct the mother Horta, Commander Sisko finds himself stuck with 20 Horta eggs, and then the eggs begin to hatch. Do you think they, imprint? So, Sisko's the mom now? While Major Kira leads a desperate rescue mission deep into Cardassian space, Commander Sisko faces a ravaging mass of newborn Hortas, uncontrollable, indestructible, and eager to consume Deep Space Nine itself. They might not be imprinting. They might just be eating everything. Okay. Star Trek, Home is the Hunter, a novel by Dana Kramer Rolls. All right, so we've got Kirk, Chekhov, and Scotty. They all look like they're in their pajamas. Starfleet issued pajamas. A dispute over a planet and its primitive people leads Captain Kirk and a Klingon commander to pit their ships against each other in battle. But the fight is stopped by a mysterious and powerful alien being named Wayland, who decides to punish 3 Enterprise crew members with their own history. He places Sulu in feudal Japan during the period's most important and bloody power struggle, Scotty in 18th century Scotland on the eve of revolt, and Chekhov in World War II Russia. So why isn't Sulu on the cover? They did it again! Sulu's... Now the 3 time travelers must face overwhelming dangers as they are pulled by conflicting forces, their allegiance to their homelands, their duty to the Federation they serve, and the demands of history. Copyright 1990. Paramount. Why is Sulu not on the cover of the books that he's actually a character in? This is getting weird. Getting very weird. Questions. Stupid. Star Trek number 14. Okay, they did not. Whoever made the typography person for this, that's hard to read. The Trellisane confrontation. The and Trellisane do not have enough space between them. That's a novel by David Dvorkin. This one's very cruddy on the front of it. It's got sticky stuff on it. Okay, definitely have to be cleaning that. I do like that spaceship though. That's pretty cool looking. The Enterprise has rushed to war-torn Trellisane. Kirk is on the bridge of a Klingon warship. McCoy is dining with cannibals, and the ship is surrounded by Romulans. In the neutral zone, power is up for grabs. Now only the ingenuity and raw courage of the Enterprise crew can avert catastrophe. Okay. I don't know what any of this cover has to do with the synopsis I just read, but okay. Deep Space Nine again. The Big Game by Sandy Schofield. When Quark holds a poker tournament on Deep Space Nine, someone from almost every sentient race, Klingons, Cardassians, Romulans, Vulcans, Ferengi, shows up for what is sure to be the highest stakes game of all time. But when one player is killed, the stakes get higher than even these big money players had counted on. With the station rocked by subspace waves that threaten its destruction, Commander Sisko and Security Chief Odo must hunt down the killer in time to save the players. A killer who has information that can save those on board Deep Space Nine from the invisible enemy they do not even know they face. A killer who holds all the cards. Okay then. Oh, this is Deep Space Nine number 4. So that was pretty early on in the Deep Space Nine series. Alright, Star Trek The Next Generation number 32, Requiem. Michael Jan Friedman and Kevin Ryan. This looks like a lot like that alien that Kirk fights in one of the early episodes. Like the really bad, like, suit-wearing one. Or, like, you can tell it's just a dude in a suit. I mean, all the aliens are just dudes in suits, but you know what I mean. 25 years ago, Captain Jean-Luc Picard conducted breakthrough negotiations with an aggressive race called the Gorn. Now, on the anniversary of that achievement, Captain Picard and the USS Enterprise are headed for the Gorn homeworld to continue that important work. But when the ship stops to investigate a mysterious alien artifact, Captain Picard is suddenly hurled through time and space. Just as Commander Riker and the Starship Enterprise crew begin an impossible search for their captain, the Gorn summit goes terribly wrong. As war looms over the galaxy and Picard is desperately needed on the Gorn homeworld, the captain finds himself stranded in the past on a planet called Cestus III, at a crucial turning point in Federation history. Now, caught in a deadly situation that challenges Picard's most cherished beliefs, he must weigh the fate of a world against the future of the entire Federation. I don't know if you all know this, probably, if you're a Star Trek fan, but they originally wanted Patrick Stewart to wear a toupee because he was already going bald, and they didn't think that the captain should be bald at first, and so they were going to have him wear a toupee, and I am so glad that they decided not to, because I can't imagine watching seasons after season of Patrick Stewart wearing a really ugly looking toupee. Alright, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. So this is going to be another novelization of one of the movies. This one is by J.M. Dillard. I think maybe the other one was by J.M. Dillard too, actually, now I think about it. Star date 8/6. I don't know, does he say it? I'm trying to think of how they normally say the star dates. Stardate 8679.25. Or is it 8679.25? For some reason, my brain isn't working and I can't think of how they actually say their star dates. Anyway, internal pressures, enormous military expenditures, and the destruction of their primary energy source have brought the Klingon Empire to the verge of catastrophic collapse. To avert disaster, Gorkin, Chancellor of the Klingon High Council, proposes negotiations between the Federation and Klingon Empire, negotiations that will put an end to the years of hostility between the two powers and herald a new era of peace and cooperation. Captain James T. Kirk and the USS Enterprise are dispatched to escort the Chancellor safely into Federation space, but a treacherous assassination brings negotiations to a sudden halt and places Kirk and Dr. McCoy in the hands of the Federation's greatest enemy. With time running out, Spock and the Enterprise crew must work to uncover the deadly secret that threatens to propel the galaxy into the most destructive conflict it has ever known. Bum, bum, bum. I think sometimes I like novelizations of movies, especially sometimes they can like kind of expound on scenes that aren't as like big or anything, or you kind of get like inner monologue and stuff that you don't get when you're watching a movie. So sometimes I really like it, and then other times I would just rather watch the movie. So we will see. We'll see if the novelizations of the Star Trek films are any better than the actual films. So this one was interesting. Star Trek 1991, the 25th anniversary editions, adapted by James Blish with J.A. Lawrence. featuring 27 stories adapted from Star Trek's landmark first season. This is the classic episodes 1. So I'm not sure if this is gonna be like, oh, it has pictures. It has pictures. Hang on, wait. Of course, this is the one I find. That's cool. It even has like the guest stars written on the thing. This is gonna be fun to read. In the 25 years since it premiered on network television, bringing the planets of the Federation and the voyages of the Starship Enterprise into America's living rooms and the national consciousness, Star Trek has become a worldwide phenomenon, crossing generations and cultures in its enduring universal appeal. Now, in celebration of Star Trek's 25th anniversary, here are James Blish's classic adaptations of Star Trek's dazzling first season scripts. And there's more. A new introduction written especially for this omnibus by one of Star Trek's creators, D.C. Fontana. Blish's original prefaces to each volume annotated for this edition. Production credits for each episode, production stills accompanying each story. Explore the final frontier with science fiction's most well-known and beloved captain, crew, and starship, with 27 tales of high adventure, including The Naked Time, Shore Leave, The Squire of Gothos, Space Seed, and The City on the Edge of Forever. Ooh, that will be fun to read. Star Trek: The Romulan Way. The new novel by Diane Duane and Peter Morwood. I really like this cover. There's just something, like, she's gorgeous. She is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if that's supposed to be them running away. Does McCoy get a Romulan girlfriend? McCoy is... yeah, I'm surprised McCoy didn't get more girlfriends. It always seemed like it was Kirk, but... They are a race of warriors, a noble people to whom honor is all. They are cousin to the Vulcan, allied to the Klingon, and Starfleet's most feared and cunning adversary. They are the Romulans. And for 8 years, Federation agent Therese Labruto has hidden in their midst. Now the presence of a captured Starfleet officer forces her to make a fateful choice between exposure and escape, between maintaining her cover and saving the life of Dr. Leonard McCoy. Here, in a startlingly different adventure, is the truth behind one of the most fascinating alien races ever created in Star Trek, the Romulans. Ooh. Oh, this is number 35. Oh, that one. That one sounds really good. That one sounds really, really good. I'm excited about that one. I'm very excited about that one. Okay. Star Trek, A Cry of the... Oh, The Cry of the Onlys? Judy Class. So we've got Kirk, Spock, and then Moody McMooderson down here. He looks like some middle school bully. Boaco? B-O-A-C-O. 6. A once tranquil Federation colony now caught up in the throes of revolution. The Enterprise's mission: re-establish contact with the planet and determine whether or not formal ties between the Federation and Boaco 6 should be strengthened. Negotiations between Captain Kirk and the planet's ruling council of Youngers as in like young kids apparently, are proceeding smoothly until the atmosphere of goodwill is shattered by the sudden destruction of a Bocan ship at the hands of an experimental Starfleet vessel. Now, in order to prevent full-scale war from breaking out, the Enterprise must recapture the stolen Starfleet vessel and its abductors, a mission that will require the aid of the galaxy's most reclusive genius, and bring Captain Kirk face-to-face with the long-buried secrets of his past. Number 46. Interesting. Sounds like it has a lot going on in it. Okay. Star Trek: Shadows of Shadows on the Sun, Michael Jan Friedman. It says what made me go, oh, was Dr. Leonard McCoy confronts his past and the wife he left behind. I need a more comfortable spot. This whole sitting on the floor thing to do these is not working out for me. As a young doctor with a beautiful family and a promising medical career, Dr. Leonard McCoy thought he had it all. But when the woman he loved betrayed him, McCoy fled to Starfleet, hoping to lose his pain in the depths of space. Now, more than 40 years later, the USS Enterprise and her crew are ordered to transport a group of mediators to the planet San, a world where assassination is a long, time-honored tradition. McCoy is surprised to learn his ex-wife, now remarried, is one of the mediators. Before McCoy can begin to face his feelings for his former love, she and Captain Kirk are trapped by a band of deadly assassins. Suddenly, McCoy is in the center of an explosive civil war where he is the only one with the power to save the woman who once nearly destroyed him. McCoy must now overcome a centuries-long tradition of death and his own past with the woman he still loves, or lose her for the second time. Here was complaining about McCoy not having girlfriends, and then that happens. That's terrible. Ooh, okay. This one was something I was really super excited to find, because one of the things for the book trek is to not only read Star Trek fiction, but also to read books that are like Star Trek adjacent. So like production notes, biographies about the actors, stuff like that. So I found The Making of Star Trek, the only book of its kind, the complete history of a top TV series, how a television show is conceived, written, sold, and produced. The book on how to write for TV. This one's very beat up. Ooh, it's got a lot of fun, fun photos. Look at that. That's cool. This will be fun. But yeah, it is pretty beat up. It's got some scuffing on the back. Definitely very old, but I like the smell of old books. They smell so good. So that will be a really good one. Good fun one to read. Star Trek Time Trap, the new novel by David Vorkin. In a remote area of Federation space, the Enterprise picks up an urgent distress signal from a Klingon vessel. Tracing the SOS, the crew finds the Klingon cruiser Mauler trapped in a dimensional storm of unprecedented power. Yet, paradoxically, the ship refuses both the Enterprise's call and the offers of help. Determined to discover what the Klingons are doing in Federation space, Kirk beams aboard their ship with a security team, just as the storm flares to its highest intensity. As the bridge crew watches in horror, Mauler vanishes from the Enterprise's view screen, and James T. Kirk awakens 100 years in the future. Kirk needs to wear more black. Look at that. And then I don't know what Miss Unibrow, who that is. Maybe the Romulans breed for eyebrows and they just keep... I don't know. Selective breeding for eyebrows. Star Trek, The Disinherited. Peter David, Michael Jane Friedman, and Robert Greenberger. Let's go to Hurrah! Yay! Gamma Zeridium, a peaceful Federation research colony that becomes the third Federation world to suffer a brutal attack at the hands of a mysterious alien fleet. With Lieutenant Uhura gone on an important mission of her own, Captain Kirk and the USS Enterprise are dispatched to investigate the attacks, only to find the planets completely devastated. When another nearby colony is attacked, the USS Enterprise is ready and encounters a fleet of quick, small, and deadly ships. Though Kirk and his crew manage to turn the raiders away, the USS Enterprise is severely damaged and the aliens escape. As Kirk and his crew prepare for their next encounter with the raiders, Mr. Spock makes a startling discovery about the purpose behind the alien attacks, a purpose that, if realized, could have deadly consequences for the Federation and the USS Enterprise. Well, all right then. Star Trek The Wounded Sky, a novel by Diane Duane. I don't know what that disgusting thing is in the back there. It's like a spider mixed with a jellyfish, mixed with like a squished gerbil skull or something. Like, I don't know what An alien scientist invents the intergalactic inversion drive, an engine system that transcends warp drive, and the Enterprise will be the first to test it. The Klingons attempt to thwart the test, but a greater danger looms when strange symptoms surface among the crew, and time becomes meaningless. Now Captain Kirk and his friends face their greatest challenge, to repair the fabric of the universe before time is lost forever. The Idic Epidemic by Jean Laura, or Jean Laura, I'm not really sure. You got the three amigos on the front. IDIC, Infinite Diversity in Infinite Combination. More than just a simple credo, for those of the planet Vulcan, it is the cornerstone of their philosophy. Now on the Vulcan science colony Nessus, that credo of tolerance is being put to its sternest test. For here, on a planet where Vulcan, human, Klingon, and countless other races live and work side by side, a deadly plague has sprung up. A plague whose origins are somehow rooted in the concept of edict itself. A plague that threatens to tear down that centuries-old maxim and replace it with an even older concept, interstellar war. This is another Next Generation, A Hard Rain. Oh, they look darling. Dean Wesley Smith is the author. Captain Jean-Luc Picard has long enjoyed playing the part of Dixon Hill, a hard-boiled private eye straight out of American pulp fiction. His holographic excursions into 1940s San Francisco, a colorful world of gunplay and gangsters, provide a welcome diversion from his hefty responsibilities as a Starfleet captain. But not this time. The Starship Enterprise has lost power and control, its own momentum carrying it ever deeper into a dangerous zone of warped space and time, and the only way out is hidden somewhere in the mean streets and back alleys of Old Frisco. But so is a cold-blooded murderer. Now, Dixon Hill, alias Jean-Luc Picard, must get to the bottom of a tangled mystery that threatens the lives of everyone aboard the Enterprise. I've always really liked the episodes that, where they have to be on the holodeck, and they wear period clothing and stuff like that. I've always really liked those. They're fun. When he's Dixon Hill or when Data's Sherlock Holmes, those are some of the best ones. Star Trek Recovery, J.M. Dillard, number 73. Oh, it says the long-awaited final book in the Lost Years saga. So, I'll have to figure out which one this belongs to. It began with The Lost Years, the story of what happened to Captain Kirk and the legendary crew of the USS Enterprise when their original 5-year mission ended. The saga continued in A Flag Full of Stars and Traitor Wins. Now, in Recovery, J.M. Dillard brings to an end one of the most exciting chapters in Star Trek history. Admiral James T. Kirk, former captain of the USS Enterprise and now Chief of Starfleet Operations, is at a crossroads in his career. When he is assigned to supervise the testing of the USS Recovery, an experimental new rescue vessel, he begins to realize how tired he is of being trapped behind a desk, away from the action. Fully automated, the Recovery is a high-speed transport vessel capable of evacuating large populations without risking the lives of Starfleet personnel. But when its creator falls under alien influence, the Recovery becomes a pawn in a deadly game that could lead to interstellar war. Trapped in the bowels of the ship is Admiral Kirk's old friend, Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, who is being hunted by a homicidal madman determined that no one on the ship will survive. Taking command of a starship, Admiral Kirk must find a way to save Dr. McCoy's life and save the galaxy from deadly chaos. Well, how did McCoy get there in the first place? What the hell are you doing on the ship, McCoy? Corona by Greg Bear. interesting. An awesome sentient force of protostars, Corona, has taken control of a stranded team of Vulcan scientists. The Enterprise has come on a rescue mission with a female reporter and a new computer that can override Kirk's command. Suddenly, the rescuers must save themselves and the entire universe before Corona unleashes a big bang. Ooh. We're going to restart the universe? I don't know who that girl was, but Spock was holding on to her pretty tight. Star Trek, The Vulcan Academy Murders by John Laura. I still haven't figured out how to pronounce that one. That's interesting. It's like some sort of like lizard cat thing. Kirk and McCoy accompany Spock to the Vulcan Academy Hospital, seeking experimental treatment for a badly wounded Enterprise crew member. Spock's mother is also a patient in the hospital, and Kirk soon becomes involved in the complex drama of Spock's family. Suddenly, patients are dying, and Kirk suspects the unthinkable: murder on Vulcan. But can he convince the Vulcans that something as illogical as murder is possible? Until the killer is caught, everyone is in danger.